Hey, Brian.
Hey, Bruce.
About my meeting coming up. I'll call you in a little bit. All right, bye. Bye.
Get rid of that. We don't like feedback. Zoom. All right. Everyone's really quiet now. Nice shot of me, right? All right. Hi, Felix. Hi, everyone. Hello. Can you all hear me okay? Yeah? Can you guys hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up. Awesome. Great. Well, welcome. Happy New Year, everyone. We're going to do some business stuff real quickly. Before we dial in with some nominating treasury stuff, I just want to give everybody an update on where we are with the recertification. The microphones are for the folks who are online. There's been a lot of problems, so hopefully you all can hear us really well now. Rob's going to be instructing tonight, so he'll be able to talk at a normal tone. So end of last year, we had 499 registered members in our district, 499, which made us the third largest district in Eastern New York, after Long Island, who had over 1,500, and Westchester, which had, Dave, remind me, over 500, 600, close to 600. So just shy of 500 for us. To date, we have 212. So I'm not entirely sure where the disconnect is. If people just aren't recertifying in a timely fashion, if people don't want to recertify, I don't know. I don't have eyes on it. Getting information out of Klaus and the state hasn't been easy because people have just been, I know that might seem a little bit oxymoronic, but it kind of is what it is, but we're not seeing that information coming out of the state quickly. Our next tranche of badges that we're going to be receiving isn't until the beginning of February. So between now and then, I'm hoping that we can double or at least get a little bit closer to that 499. I think that's going to be a little bit of an outreach on everybody's part. So if you know of people who haven't recertified to date, please encourage them to do so. I did receive the list, the updated list today with the 212 names. I will be posting that on the website probably tomorrow. So scroll through, look at a name. If you say, hey, my next door neighbor who's been a referee for the last 15 years hasn't recertified, poke them. Light a flamethrower under them, whatever you got to do. Make sense? Questions about that? Questions from the peanut gallery? No? All right. No. Treasury, we've taken in just over $8,000 in all of the dues. Of the 212, 102 have paid online. So that's been really great. So thank you very much for doing that. It's made our lives a little bit easier. We have distributed 82 badges, 83 badges out of the 212. We have another recertification in Montgomery this Saturday. We have another one the following Saturday, the 19th here. And then, I'm sorry?
Yorktown on Saturday.
No, Yorktown was the 29th of December.
There is a Yorktown.
There is a Yorktown.
On Sunday, but that's through HVSRA.
Right. That's not us. That's WSRO. Yeah. For District 4, they're not going to get a badge. So the state's been pretty clear, and I think, and please, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, we've been pretty clear about how the badges are being distributed. The state, you guys recertify through game officials, you pay your dues to HVSRA, whether it's at a recert event or it's online, you get a badge through us. You don't get a badge through Capital District, you don't get a badge through WSRO, you don't get a badge through any one of the other 9 associations. You get a badge, you register with District 4, you get a badge through District 4. You register with District 10, you get a badge through District 10. It can't be any simpler. Make sense? Questions, comments, concerns about that?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I know you've been saying like a lot of the emails from college bound.
There was one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can come.
Now you can come, yeah, yeah. And the reason why we did that, Roy, and everybody else who's listening at home and across the seas is we have, of our supposed 499 officials, around 40 of them are college age. And we had a very small window of time to get them their badges before they went back to school so that when they come back, they can officiate for the 5 or 6 weeks at the end of the season. So the board had to make a decision on triaging it a little bit. So apologies to those of you who had recertified and couldn't make last week's event, but there was a good reason for it. Okay, yeah. No. And believe me, we wanted to be really clear and concise about that. So it's been the whole recertification process has been, and we certainly don't want to turn it into, we don't want to turn this year into what happened last year, where 200 people show up at an event and the state doesn't show up with the badges. Right? We didn't want a repeat of that. That was a nightmare. That was a nightmare. Ronaldo is not here. We will be sending out some notes in the coming weeks about the mentoring program. We're going to be getting that kick-started in great earnest this spring. We're going to be hosting an educational dinner for all of you who have been so kind to donate your time or paid time as a mentor. That'll be the first weekend in February, on February 2nd to be specific, day before Super Bowl Sunday. Everybody should be home preparing for the game, but we're going to give you a little bit of education on the mentoring program. And then we have 2 events focused around mentoring. The first one is February 24th. It's a Sunday at the Net. The Net has graciously donated 2.5 hours of field time. So we're going to get a couple of the younger referees on the field. We're going to get a couple of scrimmages going, and we're going to do some shadowing. Similarly, I'm going to turn the microphone over real quickly to Mike Sankier, who's working with Kieran at the Kicking Back tournament. Okay. You have to use a mic.
Something that Kieran, I think most of you know, Kieran at the Net started a I think it's like the 5th year, and it's over $200,000 has been raised, plus, I forget, 3 cargo ship containers of soccer equipment shipped to Africa. And what they've done there, not only just soccer-wise, but school, books, a library. What I'd like to do, because last year it got a little short, on March 2nd and 3rd, if you make a note, there are adult, or not adult, but high school age boys, girls, I think are on Saturday, and boys are on Sunday, or vice versa. The other games, the younger games, we're going to try to work with the mentoring program so that you, on the small-sided field over there, you're going to divide the gym in half, 2-man, possibly a 3-man system. But we want to give the young kids who have taken a class And all of you here have worked a long time and can certainly work. We'd like to have somebody on each side of the field, somebody that's going to work with the kids hands-on. And it's a great pleasure to do for the benefit of what it's doing. And we're treated pretty well as referees. So you'll get you an email too, as the people who would like to. We'll give you the openings. And I think I want to try to get all the young kids in a 2-man system for sure, possibly a 3-man system, and work with them where some of them have not had a whistle in their mouth. So we really need your support, and thank you very, very much. And we'll get an email out to everybody.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
Question for you, Brian.
Yeah, James.
I didn't mean that.
Well, James had his hand up first, but I was looking at, no, go ahead.
What's the criteria you're using for assigning and picking who's going to be mentoring?
For the tournament?
No, I mean in general.
Oh, in general? There have been a laundry list of people who have offered their time and their expertise. And Dave and I have had some conversations of who that pool is. It's gone back and forth a fair amount over the last few months, trying to get it going for the fall, and with high school ball going on and college ball, it's been difficult. So with Ronaldo taking the helm, we're going to try to pull everybody together and get that done.
Good. All right. So I mean, are they still?
We have everybody's name who's interested in being a mentor, so you'll be getting either an email from me or Ronaldo in the next week or so.
Right.
Yeah. James.
Now you got something about the kicking back?
Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
Thank you, Mike, for asking for mentors. I'll be the assigner for the referees. So if you want to work it, if you want to volunteer your time, contact me. And I'll be also trying to reach out to new class graduates from the recent classes. We did that last year with a couple of kids. It was invaluable. Thank you very much for doing that. Secondly, if you're wondering what to do with your old USSF uniform, bring them to Kicking Back. Don't bring them to my house. Bring them to the net that weekend, because they collect uniforms and soccer equipment. We're going to have a bunch of kids dressed as referees playing soccer overseas. Yeah. In theory, you should not wear the old ones after January 1st or 31st. If you want to know what to do with the old ones, you can bring them to the net that weekend. And they would love, and they'll pay. Mike has, I think, 75 or 100 old ones.
72.
No, that's your age.
I wish that was. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Great. Why don't you hang up here for a second? So we have a couple of classes that are coming up. Rob, the grade 9 bridge course that is targeted for end of February.
March 2nd.
March 2nd.
I think it's March 2nd.
Okay.
In East Fishkill.
Okay.
That is now up. That will get communicated through East Hudson probably tomorrow.
Okay, so the grade 9 8 bridge course is March 2nd in East Fishkill. We'll promote that out on our website as well. You and I will work together to make sure that everyone who is in 9 gets a personal email out.
Yep.
And we'll make that happen. We have another grade 8 course February 23rd and 24th in Red Hook. I'm sorry?
Because I actually have a couple of people asking me about the next class. I want to get them into it.
So that's
go on.
Yeah, they can go on
Yeah, also in that.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I know there's been some interest from a couple of adult referees about college officiating. Contact Ronaldo about that. And then I'm going to turn it over to James again, who's going to talk about high school.
We need high school scholastic referees. We don't have enough to cover the games. So, as is every year, we're going to offer a course. The NHSOA will offer a course. Likely the end of March or the beginning of April. Don't have a date yet. So, if you're interested, what's good about it is there's rarely a conflict with when East Hudson games are held. With other things maybe, because the games are afternoons. and a few on Saturday. So kind of if you're interested, contact your friends because I want them to be interested. We don't have enough. Plain and simple. Games.
Please. My games get canceled.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, James. Okay, last but not least, we have elections coming up in March. First Vice President, Secretary, and Sergeant at Arms. Mark Delaney and Bob Boys are on the nominating committee. Adrian?
Mark Delaney.
Across the way.
Yeah, Mark Delaney will be the chairman of the committee. Bob, and he'll be working with Bob Boys and Rob. If you're interested in any of those positions, contact any one of those. They'll be reaching out to you. You've been identified already. Right now, I believe Secretary Mark and myself for Sergeant at Arms are running for re-election.
First Vice President is open.
First Vice President, it will be open. Rich Cianzo will not be seeking re-election, so we need a First Vice President. So if you're interested in any of those positions, by all means, contact one of those three. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions about business? Going once, going twice? Anything from the folks at home? I'll take that as a no. So with that, Mr. Miller, the floor is yours.
Okay. I'll take the microphone.
You've got the microphone?
Oh, right here.
You got it right there. Yep, it's all you. If there are questions, I'm going to be handing this around.
Okay, can everybody hear me on the internet?
Yes.
Yes. How do I know?
Huh?
Do they have a chat? Do we need to open a chat or anything?
We can open chat. I can take this.
Yep. Okay.
Yep, everyone can hear.
Okay, so the topic of tonight's clinic is handling, handball, or either. What is it? Let's vote. Can we raise our hand? Who thinks that we're going to talk about handling? Who thinks we're going to talk about handball? Who thinks handball is not a good term? Okay. Drum roll. So it sounds like everybody's voting for A. You know it's a setup, right?
Yep.
Yep.
That's why I raised my hand.
Here we go. Okay. All right, so in the laws of the game on IFAB, which is our highest level reference, it references handling 8 times, handball 17 times. The point being is now there's roughly synonymous. Either is acceptable. For all of us folks that have been around for a number of years doing this, handball was always scorned upon, right? Yes, right. So it was avoided in the past. Now it's actually predominantly used throughout the laws. I think it's interesting that there seems to be a transition to handball, which really goes back to the changes from 3 years ago, where they're trying to make the laws less high,
Bring it down to parents' level.
bring it down to less sophisticated, make it easier to read, simpler, right? With the change where they got rid of 10,000 words and all of that, trying to make the laws easier. And so now the point being is handling, handball, they're both synonymous throughout the laws. Either is fine. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about tonight, handling handball. That's what our clinic's on. And objectives. There are different references out there, right? So IFAB is laws of the game. That's the reference we go to. But there's additional guidance, and there are 3 considerations that are listed within IFAB. There are actually 5 listed in the U.S. Soccer Federation training. Be aware of the FIFA considerations. I didn't count them. It's about 12 different considerations there that you can use as well. And really, they're all very similar, and they're trying to triangulate in and narrow the confusion, right? Reduce it to where we can be consistent as referees. Okay, so we're going to go through those different considerations. And additionally, I want to show you where you can find additional information. Over the last few years, I've seen the training evolve and get more accessible. Right, for instructors, we've got Futuro and some really nice tools. They've gone past that really now. They're posting all of the national clinics, and some really, really good, well-taught clinics are out there for you, and they're really easy to get to. So I'll show you that as well. And then we're going to have some fun. We're going to apply some of these considerations to the videos, and we're going to talk about it, okay? Okay, so I just wanted to mention that each year they publish a list of topics that they want to continue to look at. And again, this year, handball handling is listed there as one of the topics that they're going to continue to look at with these expert panels to see how they can improve the definition of handball and minimize confusion and improve consistency. Okay, real quick, I think we all know that handball handling is a direct free kick offense, okay? And here are the 3 considerations that are given to us from the IFAB. The first being is hand to ball, right? And I think most of us have seen that, right? If the ball's coming in, the hand comes up and they hit, right? Or it comes this way and it hits. That's hand to ball. Next is the distance from the ball, right? So if I'm standing here and my hand is in a natural position, right? And Bob, you strike the ball, I have no time to react, it hits my hand. They want you to consider that. The opposite is also true if, say, Paul strikes the ball from the back of the room there, and my hand's here, and I don't move it away, right? I leave it there. They want you to consider that. That's the distance. And then this last one here, I think is really a catch-all. And the position of hand does not necessarily mean that you have an offense. And what does that mean? Well, there are a lot of examples. One of them maybe is you fall down. And while you're getting up long after, the ball gets struck towards you. Right? You're not even looking at it. Your hand's down here. There are, it's really all the other stuff in the gray area, which frankly, I don't, me personally, I feel like they could use that third to help shrink this more than say that just because the position of hand doesn't necessarily mean that it's an offense. I wish they would have been a little more descriptive with that. Okay, continuing on with IFAB misconduct, we have 2 cautions, right? The first one being, try not to read it directly, but what's the first one? I think we all know this, yeah? Give me one of them.
Stop a goal scoring.
Yes, denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity. Let's see. How's that a caution, Mike?
Could be. Again, if you call the handling and it prevents the goal, then it would not be a caution.
If the ball went in,
right?
You could say it was a caution.
Yep.
If you
yes. But then you didn't deny it. Right. But his point is valid. If you try to deny an obvious goal scoring opportunity and you don't, and it goes in, then you fall down into unsporting behavior. Good. I like it.
Not with handling.
Say that again.
Not with handling.
You're saying you cannot give it.
If you're handling the ball in the penalty area, you can't say, oh, I'm going to give it back caution.
His point is he handled the ball, he reached out, tried to stop the goal.
Yep.
He slapped it, and it went off his hand into goal, and it was a goal. So now it's no
So
longer.
he did not deny an obvious.
Right. Right. Yeah. Good. Okay. Do we have another one? That's a good one, Mike. Thank you. We have another one.
Attempting to score.
Right. Yeah. How many? Has anybody given that yet? Who else given that? I've given it a couple of times. I think twice, ever. I remember a men's game. The guy did it. It was a tackle. He realized this fell at his feet, and he cranked the shot. And it was in the first 2 or 3 minutes. It's down in Mayapack, and the center gave him a caution for that. Yeah.
I've seen it as an AR, but not as a center left. And that was interesting. You know,
Yes.
they,
Yes.
they think it's a goal and try and get their attention.
Right.
Took a little while to get their attention.
Very good. Okay, and then trying to stop a promising attack is the next one, right? So you reach out, you handle the ball, she's going to goal, right? And you reach out, you knock it down to knock it out of play because you've been beat, right? She plays through and you knock it out. That absolutely, if you're trying to stop a promising attack. Okay, and then the sending off offense, we talked about that. Denying goal scoring opportunity by handling, right?
Okay. The last one, does it matter if it's in the penalty area or not?
Denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity. That's a good question. Let's talk about it. What do you guys think?
I could more have to send the ball if it's outside the box because they're taking away the goal scoring opportunity while in the box, giving the PK.
Except the one piece you're missing from that is, was it an honest play on the ball?
Sure.
Right?
So it's deliberate. Yeah.
And so handling, much like a shirt pull, holding, grab the arm, that's not an honest play on the ball. So they do not get that exception. Right? So if they handle the ball in the penalty area, to denying obvious goal scoring, you're going to send them off and give the PK, which is different than if they make a slide tackle and they just barely miss the ball, they take them down. Now it's a PK. They did deny the opportunity, but you've restored that by giving the PK, and you're only going to give them the yellow card, right? That's a really good point, Paul, thanks. Okay?
So it doesn't matter.
It does not. If you're in or out, you're sending them off. Right. Yep. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the FIFA considerations. Next. This is, to get to this, I'll show you that in a moment, is posted on the U.S. Soccer Federation under the referee resources. We go in there, you can click the link and it will take you to where these are posted. And this was last updated in September of 2017. And we can go through those. Does the hand move towards the ball? That's the same as what we had already in IFAB. Is the player's arm in a natural or an unnatural position? And so, Randy, we were talking earlier, if you're on the field doing this, right, is this a natural position? If you're running like this, no, right? No, it's not. Right? How about like this? Right? Can we get big? We're not allowed to get big, and this is not a natural position. Does the player attempt to avoid the ball striking the hand? again, back there, we talked about that earlier, Paul, right? So I'm running like this, and Paul strikes the ball, and I see it coming, and I continue to do this, and then, oh, it hit my hand. Well, I had time to get out of the way, right? Does the player use the hand or arm to deliberately touch or block the ball? Okay, so if there's a shot and it's like here, slap it down. And with these, you can just think them through, prevent an opponent from gaining possession of the ball, right? We talked about that. Does the player attempt to score? We talked about that. You slap the ball down so it can help you to score. Prevent a goal by deliberately handling the ball. We talked about that. Now, you're going to either, if you're well outside the penalty area and you reach up and block the shot, that would be unsporting behavior. Not dogs denying obvious goal scoring because the ball may not have obviously gone in the net. And does the player try to deceive the referee by handling the ball? And that would be much like if it's going out and you try to swing it back in without the referee seeing, something like that. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
The number 43, girl's hand was definitely in an unnatural position. Usually, she was jumping, but she was trying to prevent her hand from hitting the ball by pulling the hand away as the ball did hit her hand. She was not trying to prevent a goal from being scored because she was not. Is it a handball? Or
I would have called that handball. And
because it was in an unnatural
I
position.
can't explain that on video, if it hits her arm and her arm is not in a natural position, then I'm not going to try to defend that. Okay? Now, I might give you, I'm going to go out on a limb here a little bit. I did a U8 game years ago in Fishkill. The ball got hit straight up in the air. And this 8-year-old girl ducked like this. And wouldn't you know it, out of that entire field, it comes down and hits her hand. And wouldn't you know, the other coach goes nuts. He wants the handball, right? You need to take that into consideration as well, right? But that's getting a little bit outside of what we're talking about, okay? So at high school girls, it's fairly high level. If your arm's up here, at a men's game, twice. The first time, the guy comes up like this, and it comes off of the guy's head in front of him and hits his hand and right here, area. No business having his hand up there. I called it. Boy, they were mad. The same guy twice, 10 minutes later, something very similar. It comes down, and he's like this, and it comes off his head or something and hits like right here in his hand. Call that one too. And, you know, so it's.
Rob, at a senior clinic once, the discussion came up at length about what is a natural position.
Yeah.
And they emphasized,
Yes, I'm with you.
a natural position for what? Running, jumping. There was a World Cup game where the guy jumped in the air, the ball hit off his head, he went to head it, and it skinned off his shoulder. And they went on for 20 minutes as to whether it should have been a penalty kick. He was jumping. You don't jump, and this is not a natural position for players, and we have people who think that it is. So I'm running on the field using my arms like you did, or I'm jumping in the air.
Right.
I can't jump in the air with my hands. So again, being clear as we make that decision, is the player's hand in a natural position for what he was doing? Obviously, if he's got both feet on the ground and standing there like this or like that, those are easy ones to do.
All right. In the referee's opinion, were his hands in a natural position for what he was doing?
Right.
So I remember back one of my first games as a referee, running down the field like this.
Yep.
Bob strikes the ball, hits my hand right here, and I call the handball. And I should not have. That was absolutely a natural position with no time to react. In distance, all of that. It should not have been called. Right? I was a new referee. And that's why we're here, to try and talk about this and learn something.
Hey, Rob.
Okay.
Rob,
I like these. There's some good ones in here.
Hey, Rob, can I ask you a question?
I really like these. These are the ones that I wanted to get to, and I want to show you the clinic after we're done where these came from, as well as it's on Futuro, and it's throughout U.S. Soccer Federation. They're teaching this. We need to look at whether it's a natural or unnatural position. We've seen that before in the other guidance, narrations. Hands on the body. This is generally okay. Now, if ball strikes it from way back there and it's coming at me and I leave him here, that might be not okay. But generally, if the ball is struck and I get my hands in on the body, that's okay, generally. Deliberate action.
What do you mean generally?
Well,
don't tell Fred.
we're trying to shrink this guidance. So, in your opinion, if they did not move their hands away, and they could have, should have, right? And another example I would use, I called in a college game, the ball is coming out towards Paul. The keeper got a toe on it, cleared it out towards Paul, and a defender is running towards the ball, as an attacker is running towards the ball. This player runs at least 10 yards, sees that she's going to get to the ball first, jumps as high as she can in the air with her hands up here like this. She flies through the air, probably 8 yards high in the air with her hands up here. And of course, it hits her hand. Now, that's against the body. So you could say her hands were against the body. The problem I had with it was this bottom one here, taking a risk. She took a risk, made herself bigger, deliberately, intentionally made herself bigger, took the risk, ran all that distance with the sole purpose of getting in front. Is a desperate act to stop the shot on the goal. I called handling. The coach sent it in to the assigner, who reviewed it and sided with me. Right? I reviewed it with a number of high-level officials, saw the video. Unfortunately, it's gone now and I can't get it. I tried to get it to show here. And they sided with me. Yeah.
Rob, the same thing. In the NISOA book, it says if a girl is standing with her hands protecting herself, yep, and the ball hits her, not handling. But if she's moving her hands to protect herself, it is. So what you're saying here is, because NISOA has nothing.
I haven't seen that, Mike. But this is the guidance I have seen. Hands on body is generally
you
okay.
Mentioned college games, so that's different rule book. In college, clearly, if a girl's hands are here, like you said, Sherry, her hands were here to protect her face for the fact that she wasn't trying to handle it. She was trying to protect her face, maybe. And if they were there versus if she jumped in the air and put her hands up like that, then according to the rule book, then she would be in.
Would this be a natural position to play soccer?
It might be, but not if you're running. Exactly, natural position. You're running 10 yards like this with the sole purpose to make yourself bigger and to block that shot.
You're never naturally running with the hands across. Right. Really above your head. If you
right.
jump, that's one thing.
Yes, Dave.
Okay, let's have the same person make that run and goes up and the ball is kicked. And she puts her hands up to protect her face.
She, in her rule book, it's handled.
Say your question.
Okay.
For me.
You had a girl making up. In your example, you had a girl making a run with her hands up, right?
Yes.
Going through the air 8 yards.
Yes.
And they hit her in the hands and you call handling.
Yes.
What if she makes the same run without her hands in the air? She goes up in the air and then the ball is played and she protects herself.
That gets a little harder.
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
But we've always had the discussion that
right.
Two rule books are distinctly different. Because in,
yeah.
Okay, I'll get it. I should have brought it.
Okay. Let's keep going.
Good. Mm-hmm.
Deliberate action, right? This is where I learned something preparing for this clinic. In deliberate action, and this next one, taking a risk. From the National Clinic. And the example used, these players are really good. And you're down, your hand's right here, and you're sliding on the ground, and the ball comes through, and it's going right to that player who's going to have an opportunity to take the ball and go and shoot. Just a little flick while you're sliding around, a flip of the wrist. Redirected that ball away from where it was going. That's what they want you to look for, is that deliberate action. Another one might be the ball's exactly coming this way, and you just do a little flick with your elbow, just a small flick that redirects that over here to where you can get to it, as opposed to it going past you. You need to look for that. And what they're saying is, just because the arms may be against the body, you go like that, just a small flick, right? That's not okay, right? Hands are against the body, but you go like that with a little flick of your elbow, that's not okay. They want you to look for that, right? That deliberate action to redirect the ball, right? It may not be big, it's not the arm out here, it's not wide, it's a small flick, right, that they're looking for. And this last one here is taking a risk. Much like and they're using words like desperate attempt to stop the attack, where you make yourself bigger, you commit, you take risk. And in the clinic, if you watch it, and I'm going to show you where it's at, there's a lot of debate. And these are high-level referees. This is a room full of grade 5 and higher referees debating whether this is handball handling or not. And they were split down the middle. Half of them thought it was, half of them didn't. And it came down to, they said, hey, I want to make this easy for you. You need to keep a couple things in mind. We favor scoring football, right? And who do you want to reward? Do you want to reward the attacker that has done everything right to get in a position where they could score? Or do you want to reward that guy that was beat and does this slide tackle through the air, desperate attempt to try and prevent a score, and just because he's sliding with his arm down, it hits his arm, do you want to reward that player for that desperate act that stops the goal by letting it hit his arm? And they said, clearly, we want you to call that as handball. So if I commit, I take risk, and I slide in on something in a desperate attempt to stop that attack, and it hits my arm, they want you to call it. Unless, what? Unless they put their arms in tight on the body when they do their slide tackle, then you wouldn't. But if it's out here holding themselves up, balance, something like that, on this desperate attempt, they want you to call. Okay, and that's this last one here, the risk taking. Okay, where can you find this guidance? Right, I already said it's on the U.S. Soccer Federation, and we can go live. I just went there. We could go live, and I can pull this up right now. We have internet. So U.S. Soccer Federation, ussoccer.com/referees, and then go over here to the resource center. There's like a pull down, and there's all this stuff. A lot of really good content here. And I've been here for years, coming in here. I've never seen it this populated with good stuff as it is today. And if you go into downloads, it looks like this. And as an instructor, I go in here, you can find Futuro. I have a hard time saying that, and some others. And now they've got this YouTube channel. Anybody else knew that? Anybody else know that was there? It's really good. Good stuff there. And then here's where I got a lot of this content from, is this presentation here. And this was uploaded in, I think, September of 2017. Right? It's current. 20-minute video on all about all this that I just went through. Okay? Okay, what were the four that we just talked about? Okay. I went 5. There's 4 plus 1. The 5 that I want you to remember. Was it a natural or unnatural position? Hands on the body is generally okay. Was it a deliberate action, right? We're looking for this. The flicks. Taking a risk. Desperate act, slide tackle, come in there and it hits my hand. Right? That's one that I'm now going to start calling a little differently than I might have in the past. And then the last one, which we knew about, where they handle the ball to take it to feet. I thought we would go through this video here. 2 months ago. So Mike, you mentioned how college uses different rules. You know, the FIFA considerations, that's what they use. That's what this uses. And so I'm not, I would argue that I call handball the same way in college as I do elsewhere. Uh-oh. Okay. Is there sound? Boy, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Awfully close. Let's see if we can get 50-50. That'll be good.
I am going to ask that everybody that's at home, write down, weigh in, either say it is or isn't. I'm not going to call you out on it. I want you though to commit. Write down now, is it or is it not? Would you call this PK, yes or no?
So they said he's sticking back.
No, watch
He's running.
Watch this right now. Whoop.
When he's running.
The one that he goes, let me get it out of the way then.
Well,
only because it is.
so this is number one.
It's off the post.
Right. It was awfully close.
Wait.
Shoot away from each other.
He's running right now. Is there a correct answer here?
There is. We're going to go through it. All right. Does everybody have their answer? In the room here, let's go ahead and show. All right. Who has PK? Who has no PK? Okay. When I watched this, I went with no PK. One of the things I wish they would have had a better zoom in to see, did his hand, was, right? But to me, that looked like a natural position, right? He's slowing down, right? And he's, right, it's not far out there. It looked to me like a natural position, but it was really hard to see.
He's only this far away from the defender.
Yes.
So the defender, I mean, he's taking a shot. He's crossing that ball. He couldn't get his hand out of the way.
That was my second point. I agree with you, Mike. It looked to me like natural position, and it also looked to me like he has no time to react, short distance.
His body language is what sold me.
Yes, I don't like it.
It being a penalty.
Right, it hit his hand. He's like, oh my gosh, and he's looking guilty, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. He sure as heck looked guilty. He did. I'm with you on that, Dave. I saw that too. And he's like, look, where's the ref? Oh.
Well, on the same token, you could have, if this referee's calling a lot of that, he's like, damn it, it hit my hand.
Right.
You know, I can't try and hide, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Who knows how many of these he's called, and you know, anything hits a hand. So, but to me, I didn't think so, but let's see how I did, right? And how you guys did. So, what did we say? We're going to go with, what do we want to call here?
50-50. I said.
Okay, I selected no foul up here, and I really did. And so, does the hand move to the ball or to the ball to the hand, right? This is all the considerations we already talked about, which we said, no, it didn't move to it, right? And are the hands in a natural position? I thought so, right? Does the player make an attempt to avoid the ball from touching his hand? He didn't have time, I think, right? He just boom, hit it. Does the ball touch the hand come from a short or long distance? Very short distance, right? It's 2 yards out there, maybe. Let me see. By handling the ball deliberately, does the player prevent? No, that doesn't apply. Does the player deliberately handle the ball and attempt to score? That doesn't apply, right? This would be for the other end. Does the player handle the ball and attempt to not? No, not apply. Is the ball moving in the direction of the goal? It is. Okay. Does the player try to deceive the referee by handling the line? Let's see what they say.
No foul.
No foul.
No foul at the bottom here. No foul for all the, right? There's nothing in there that we said, oh, we might have intentionally to do that, right? And it doesn't say whether he looked guilty, right? Because he did. He looked really guilty.
At this level of play, is anything
Yes. Your point is fair.
I'll see your fairness.
It doesn't list that either.
And raise you.
Okay, so in the end, here's our first example that we're going to talk about tonight. Using the considerations, and as well as we could see from that, I mean, we're what, 40 yards away, something like that on video. That's tough, right? Okay, let's do some more. I have a hard time seeing my mouse. Did we want to darken the lights?
We could do that.
And these do have audio.
Is that it right there?
Yeah.
You can see it.
See, we get a bad angle. Could be bad. Not a penalty, but.
Rob, you're on the way.
Okay, you want to see it again, or you want to go to the answer?
Go one more time.
Let's go one more time.
Your hand should have.
Do we have audio here? Because there's definitely audio.
Not unless it should be. It should be
Speakers.
Could you turn the?
Oh, okay. Okay, what do we think?
Corner.
Who says handball? Yeah. Okay. Who says no handball? Okay. And do we think that was a natural position? And she's turning. Is this natural?
I thought it was
No. It's a little. It's out there pretty far.
You made yourself a little big.
Are the hands on the body? No, quite the opposite. They're not. They're out here. It's out here. Okay.
Yeah,
So
now
this,
look where her hand is. It wasn't where you said just now.
Her
Her
eyes
hand's
are.
down at her side. Wasn't out here.
It was here, and then I did the best I could, Mike, to try and grab these. But I too suffer from like 1 second clips, right? Pause, right? And so it does go like this.
But there's a contact.
Yeah, right here. It clearly, and her arm is here.
Yeah, but look at her left.
We're not looking at
I
this.
think she's trying to play the ball and it skips funny.
You
That's
did.
what I thought.
It did. She
I
wasn't.
think she's trying to do this and then was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I think she thought the offensive player was going to get it, and it got by her and took a bad bounce.
Now, this is from the this comes from the Federation. They show there's a reason why we're looking at this one. It's not like out here, right? We're not going to get those wrong. This one here, they're saying that her arm was not in a natural position and her hands were definitely not on the body. It's out here.
Right, they
Not
were taken from where the ball was kicked also.
Yes.
Right.
It's not like you and I are right here and I have no time to react. She's turning, her arm is away from her side, and it hits the ball. They want you to call this. Okay, you want to go back to see it again?
Yeah. It looked like she was turning away from the ball. In that
Yes,
case,
right.
she's turning away and her arm is going.
Yes.
That's why I'd be less inclined versus her turning towards the ball with her arm out. In this case,
This is a tough one, right? And that's why we're talking about it. It's a tough one. Her arm is not at her side, right, as she is turning. And
Oh, I like the answer. No foul.
No, that's the problem. That's the last one. No, that's the first one.
It's a good try, though.
Try right.
She's only 14. She clears it. She's trying to shoot it or whatever.
Let's go back. We'll watch that one more time for you guys. Not respond. Oh man, respond. Right.
I didn't do anything.
It's his fault.
Not even spinning.
I did it spinning at least.
Much different when it's on the field.
It's doing it again, 10 times the scale.
42, 43.
You're bringing up on this other laptop.
I don't know.
You can close down.
She was her arms out.
See, I thought the girl flicked that right here. Right here. That is not okay. Right? That is not okay. I know it's hard when you're twisting and turning out.
You also had plenty of time to watch the ball.
Coming
right in there. So you had
distance.
plenty of time to
Right. This is high. What'd you say, Dave? This high level soccer here. Right? This stuff isn't for no. Not sure she. But her arm is clearly away.
Right. It's look at her again. Look at her eyes. Her eyes have nothing except the ball.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to get that ball.
Yeah. And her arm is not right. This would have been okay.
Is that where you want her arms to be?
Right.
As far as the eye goes, where else would her eye fit?
Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Let's do another one.
What's the answer?
Yes, but if she's looking like that.
What was the answer on that one?
Still need 4 feet away.
Not if it's
What was the answer on that one?
I thought the girl actually flipped it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought she actually caught it. Still, and
Yeah.
that's why. Okay, let's move on.
Didn't the referee point on her there?
What was the answer to that?
It's from a
last
VHS
time?
handball.
They did.
They want you to call handball because her arm is not in a natural position. Out here, it's not where it should be.
It was a race that.
Oh, yeah.
You're supposed to favor the attempter.
That's a gimme right there.
All right, what do we think on that one? Right? That's a get us better. Okay? This natural position. You want to see it again, Mike?
He doesn't put his arms up until he sees the defender make the play.
His hand is so far out.
Yeah. Hands up here.
Why are your hands up there?
Right? And boom. Drops at his feet and he's going to goal. This
Right
is
here.
great.
He looks, now I put my arm out. Where's he coming from? Yep.
See, I see a ball coming at my face, and this was the whole contention. He's looking right down, as he just said, he's looking right at the ball. The ball's coming right at his face. Now, what's he supposed to do, take it in the face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he intentionally handled that ball to get possession.
Yes.
No, millions of dollars.
So Mike, I get it. I hear your point. They want you to call that. To me, I'm okay with that. That's up here. That is not a natural position. They're giving us rules, guidance, considerations. Is that a natural position for his arm? And your point that he's trying to protect his face, they're not giving you that. They're not giving you
The other half of protecting his face there would be to move his head back out.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, I was going to say, what would you do then? Same kind of thing. The guy is running like this. The ball comes up, he knocks it down and plays it. All right. That's what we just saw. He comes in, he goes like that, hits in deer, falls. Are you gonna call that handling? Is my question.
The way you described it, I would, because here's why. He took a deliberate action, a risk to jump in there like that, right, and get big. He put himself there, and you're going to give him an opportunity, allowing him to put his hands up here in an unnatural position. Now,
I'm not saying that he's gathering the ball. He's actually protecting himself. So it hits him here, but down he doesn't gather the ball.
Right.
Are you going to call handling?
The one you just showed, his hand is up against body, right? Like this.
No, it's protecting his face. It's not up against my face. It's out here.
Then I'm going to call it.
I probably won't.
I don't think that was. I don't think that was protecting space.
No, I don't either.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't either.
And he just like showed us. So do we agree? The Federation gave us this one, and they want us to call handball.
I agree with that.
Okay. All right. We got a lot of good ones. A lot of good ones. Let's look at all the.
Can you do one frame at a time?
I'm not able to. I wish I could.
Okay.
Then I would have gotten a little bit further out and stuff like that.
It's on the hook.
I can't.
Boy.
All right. What do you guys think about this one? Now, White is trying to score. Whoa. White is trying to score. See the attacker right there in the D.
That's definitely.
That ball is coming through if he doesn't stop it.
This is a game that accidents can happen.
No accident. Looks like he hits it twice.
Accidents don't happen twice.
Looks like he
All
hits
right,
it this one.
so-
Use the other hand to
Do
put
we
it
have
out.
handball or not?
Yes.
I want you to call. Okay, here he sees the ball coming. Oh my gosh, I gotta get back and stop it. And he slips, and down he goes, and he stops that ball from coming through to White, who's gonna crank a shot.
It almost looks like he uses his left hand to put it back in front of him. His other hand.
Okay. Oh, and then they kicked it away.
I'm glad you guys saw the kick away as well, but I wanted to lighten it up. That one's fun, right? All right, we all got that one, right?
Okay.
It's a PK. And I do appreciate that you noticed the kick away. I definitely would have had trouble with an issue like kicking the ball away afterwards.
Okay, let's do this next one.
No.
All right. Wait, now his face, his hands are already
Dark
there.
blue.
And then the hands.
Already there.
What do you guys think?
No,
Handball?
dangerous
Handball.
play.
It's the same
I
as
like
the
Jim
other
said,
one we
dangerous
talked
play.
about earlier.
He's protecting his face from the foot.
Initially, but if you want.
Yeah, that's the
You
issue.
got something? You okay? All right, good. Okay, yeah, they want handball on that one too. Nice green. Oh, yeah. That's the one.
It wasn't my hand.
Well, the defender called it, why wouldn't
Do you have Americanos in there?
All right, we got a yellow card for this one?
Yeah.
The guy in white just taps down. Yeah.
He knows he gets.
Oh, in the fingers.
What?
I saw it too. Somebody's got to talk to that ref.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they really don't want to happen, right? You've got to address that. You got to get it stopped. You got to give them a caution.
And Ron,
Okay.
one of the things that's important as we sit here and watch this, we're getting camera angles, not necessarily the referees. So if we had the perfect view every single time, I think we would be
Exactly.
more
And on some of these, I think it would have helped us if we would have had a better camera angle view, right? Just the one with where she's swinging like that, the referee was 10 yards away looking right at it, called it immediately. We're looking from the side, it's less obvious, further distance.
But on the same token, what he's saying is, this is a fast break, and I know we're supposed to be on the ball all the time, but we could be 40 yards away.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
You know,
Because especially this one, these guys are fast. Yeah, but at this
How
level,
many
your
are-
AR is going to help you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, how many are okay with the AR calling?
He's close.
I feel
Gee, you did, absolutely, that's
you're
good.
okay with the AR.
And yet he's,
Even though it is slightly outside the AR spot. Okay, I have more. We could keep going for a few more. It would take me about 2 minutes to bring them up. They're on the Futuro. I think that's enough, unless you guys. More. We could do more. One more?
Yeah.
Do a couple more.
Couple more
And
minutes.
all that doesn't want to go home.
I'm the only one that's
I'll get 'em up, man.
The last one, you could be, here's the one, if you're like over here, so you may not be, because the head is off. It's hard to tell if the head is off. That's when you really hard to trust.
Z14 is a change. No, no. It's it.
Sorry, guys. 1 second.
Okay. Sorry.
Got it. Okay. I like number 2. Oh boy. What do you got?
Handling. Oh, yeah.
Who says not handling? Anybody? Not handling. I just want to be good. Good.
You are, Bob. It's okay.
I know. Okay. One more time here.
I wouldn't call it. Only reason I call it because she's going out that way, like that. She goes to head it, and she brings her hand.
Easy to miss because she doesn't hit it.
Her hands out there already. If she goes to head it and brings her hands up, then I'm not calling.
is there a correct call on these?
Yes.
Okay.
Now it's a yes. All right. So, 2-1, handball, and they want a yellow card.
For blocking the deliberate pass.
Stopping a promising attack. They're going to show. I'll show you why. Here's the second one. And she's wide open.
Yeah, there's a lot of space over there.
Yes.
I'm not sure I would have called that as a promising attack, because you don't know.
Yeah, but didn't we?
A lot of defenders
Doesn't
there.
that fall under
Certainly.
the fourth one of taking
That's
a
what
risk?
hold on here.
That's taking a risk, right? She's
Right
taking a risk
now.
with a deliberate act.
Okay,
Yeah, she's away.
she did not get to that ball. It got past her. She did not head it.
Yeah.
It's going to red. She knows it. What other defenders are going to stop red from going to goal?
I'm still on.
Right? That's the first point. Are we in a promising attack situation at this point? When that ball gets past her.
I know this is high level, but you're asking for some play for her to corral that in to get that.
She
could still cross the ball. If she had got contact, she could cross the ball.
She's going to take that ball. She's taking that ball off her feet. She's going to go. It's exactly. We're stopping a promising attack because we don't know. Green over there might be able to get in there and stop her at time.
But I'm saying for her to even corral that pass so far behind her is a hell of a play.
She doesn't have to corral it. All she has to do is hit it.
So that's the first point. That's the first point I want you to see. Is there's a lot of space between her and goal right now.
Yeah.
And this is high level soccer. And Green knows she didn't get there. That's her player. She missed it, and she's beat. That's the first point that's really important. And then the second one here. As a referee, how in the world are we going to see this?
Yeah, really.
She clearly missed the header, and her hand is in a fist. In fact, if you watch this in slow motion where it was coming down, it stopped coming down in order to be there, to hit the ball and knock it out over the touch line. This is tough, right? But that's why they want handball, yellow card.
Would you say her hands are in a natural position?
Right
She's
there.
running as hard as she can.
Right,
Guiding
but
to head the
yeah,
ball.
but right there she is, but she's been running with her hand out in front of her.
Right. Yeah. And Mike, I'm going to say no. If you watch this in slow motion, I can't do it here. I have seen it in slow motion before. Her hand is coming down like this, and it goes like this. Instead of continuing down, it comes back up just a bit. And her fist clenches, right? She knows she's going to hit that ball. Now, I don't know how in the world I'm going to be able to call that as a center referee. Right? This is really tough.
Exactly.
But they want this called, and they want a yellow card there because she stopped a promising attack, high level stuff. Okay? You want to do number 6?
Goal! Cheeky.
Oh my gosh. What do you got, Bob? What do you got?
Foul and a yellow card.
Yes, I agree. Yellow, everybody's got it? Yeah. Good.
Yes, nail that one. You always give us the easy ones. That's the hard ones.
Let's do 7.
It wasn't the back of the rooms.
See that?
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you got?
Foul.
Handling? Yellow card or not? No.
I think I am.
Yeah. Promising attack or shot on goal. Deliberate handling that blocks a shot on goal, they want a yellow card. That is part of the promising attack. Okay?
Yeah, you don't know what could
Right?
happen.
And the other thing, just like we saw with that one player, how she had her fist, she knew it was coming, right?
She got. She kind of went big.
And she's got the fist long before that ball got there, right? Let's watch it one more time to see the
It looks
fist.
like she was turned sideways, like to take the shot. You know, she didn't want to take it direct, and then she
Sounds hard. This is hard.
in the other angle.
Here's the fist.
She's sideways. And then, yeah.
More?
Yeah.
One more?
Yeah, one more. One look at Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, what do you got?
2 feet away.
It is handling. I missed that one. Oh, yeah. I missed it. It's out just enough. Just enough. And then she pulls it in. How about a yellow card? Do we want a yellow card? No yellow card. Why? Is there a promising attack? Shot on goal? No. No need for a yellow.
Any advantage that could be played here? I mean, obviously, the other team gets the ball in this case.
Where?
I hadn't thought about that. Well, let's look at it.
No, look how many defenders are there.
Yeah, it's not.
Probably not. Probably better with a set play there. Yep. I would call handling for yellows. Okay. Okay, so let's let me flip back and so we can just talk through what we talked about tonight and what our objectives were.
You want the lights on?
So wanted to state the 3 IFAB considerations, which were, can anybody help me out? Name one of them. Natural, unnatural, and ball the hand. No, I'll be tricky. Ball the hand, I got to cheat. Ball the hand was the first one. What's the second one? Do you remember? Distance. Thank you. Good, James. Distance, hand the ball, and position of the hand doesn't necessarily mean an offense. Right? That's one of. All right, let's talk about what the 4+1 is in U.S. soccer. Okay, what were they?
Natural, unnatural.
Natural, unnatural. Second one? Yep, hands to the body. What's the third one? Yeah, flick, right? Deliberate action. And then the one that I learned from
Taking the risk.
I'm launching in there in a desperate attempt to stop it. I'm sliding with my arm down and it hits. Right. That's a really good one. Is that a new direction? Yeah. And I learned from that one, right? And I'm going to go back and watch this. I've watched this. It's a 20-minute video. I've watched it twice and gone back to even other segments of it and watched it again. It's a really, really good video. And I showed you guys how to get there, right? U.S. Soccer Federation, referee resources on the right side there. Come down to downloads, YouTube channel, handling, and they're all in there. They're 40 or more clinics in there on all the key topics. It's there. It's great stuff. I encourage you to go there and check this out.
Rob, if there are any specific links that you had in this presentation, could you make sure that it's at least the address is in there so that when it's posted to the site?
They're all in there.
They're all in there? Okay.
They're all in
Great.
the presentation, right? So
excellent. Thank you.
And thank you for mentioning that, Brian. Back here, it's at the very top there.
Okay.
So you get the referee program. You see the link.
Yep.
It's right there.
Got it.
The NISOA link.
Yep.
Is also in there.
It's also in there.
Separate
Okay.
slide.
I didn't see that. Thank you. Yep.
Okay. All right. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Questions, comments? Thanks. Watch your eyes. Thanks, sir. Mike.
I have one in which referee and the AR are both looking at the same thing in the box.
Yeah.
On the corner of the box, as far away from that referee, probably not going to be near there. And I'm sorry. And the referee blows a whistle and he's not positive. Good idea to consult your AR before you call the penalty kick, or suppose the AR totally disagrees with the call. Should there be a conference? Angles are different, and these things happen. That's what was brought up, like for half an hour in a clinic. In other words, the communication between the referee and the AR on location, on...
It sounds like a really good topic to discuss in your preview.
Yeah, I would say, what do you do if there's an event that happens in the box, the penalty area? Right. Welcome. That's part of your pregame. Do you own it? Do you own the penalty area wholly and completely as the center referee, or is it a team sport? As the center referee, it's a team sport.
The most recent one was the definition now that high-level referees don't have to worry about that anymore, because they got all these nice cameras, and they got replays, and they can see it before they make the call.
Yeah, but
then they can be overruled also.
But if I'm doing a game at East Fishkill Complex, we don't have that.
No, I understand.
Why doing that game? He's not standing here.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, so I think it's part of your pregame. To be quite honest with you, I think that's part of your pregame.
But you're not going to cover everything in pregame. Things can happen.
Yeah.
And in that case, I think you defer to the referee.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's game is in the report.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're 100% sure he could not have seen what you saw. You wouldn't. If you think he saw this, you wouldn't.
I would, as a referee, I wouldn't take it, because if I go over
well, I can still go no. I'm not
if I
going
go over there and I take it, and my game is in the toilet.
It's fair.
Fair.
I think
as a center, I may wave you off and go, "This is mine anyway." See what I'm saying? So, but if I go over there, I'm going because I'm not 100% sure.
If I make a call, I would tell them, if I make a call and you see it differently, if you actually see me make the call, support me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
We can talk about it later.
I have an interesting question about that. In a men's game about a year ago, I was the AR, and his team is attacking right outside the penalty area. The attacker gets fouled, and he blew the whistle. It was the correct foul, but he pointed at the penalty spot, and I clearly saw it was outside. The center ref never once looked over at me. So
Did you put your flag? What? Like signal, or
well, that's my question. He never once looked at it. So should I have?
That sounds like a good topic for your pregame. I'm only half kidding about that. Those are things that I talk about.
I used to say an hour before the game. Now it's like,
all right, listen. So my question is, do I see his attention, or do I just stay? Because he never looked at me.
What's your mechanics there?
So I'm standing there.
Okay, so you are getting his attention by not fulfilling the mechanics for a PK. You're right. If the referee does not accept that information, there's nothing you can do. You're assisting. You don't want to cross the line into the assisting.
So I don't try to get his attention.
You are trying to get his attention by what you.
Right, correct.
Okay, it's a 0-0 game, right? And this happens with 30 seconds to go to the end. And this happens with 30 seconds to go to the end of the game, right? He calls a PK that's not a PK. Is that what you? Right. What are you going to do as an AR?
Well, that's my question. Yeah.
You're going to try to save his ass.
So what I would do is I would stand up like this. I would go, I agree. I got a foul. I would show this way. And then I would step left. And if he doesn't figure out what I just told him, I'd say, hey, Rob, Ronaldo, let's just make sure we get this right. I would. In a 30 seconds, it's deciding the game. You clearly had the best view. You clearly knew it was not a PK.
Well, especially in a PK or situation.
I would weigh in on that.
The game stopped. If he doesn't look over at you at all,
right, get his
he's
attention.
doing himself no favors.
Yeah.
If he doesn't look over, he's doing himself no favors there, because everyone stopped anyway. The play's not going anywhere. We've already blown the whistle. Just take that split second and look. Because I do the same thing. That's what I tell my ARs. I'm like, take a huge step out. If it's in,
I'm stepping
going
out
to the end line, because you're setting up for the next play.
You're not undermining. You're giving him an input. There's probably only two of us really know what that is.
Right. But the key point here is not necessarily the referee. What are the responsibilities of the AR in that situation? Is he going to allow the game?
If he tells me, and I
If he
don't,
looks over and says,
thank you
no,
very
I
much.
got it differently, thank you.
You can't do more than that.
That's right. You've done your part.
All right.
You
But
passed
have
your
to find a
assessment,
way
you
of
failed.
telling, of conveying the information.
It's like not sprinting if you clearly know that it's not a goal. By standing right there, the lack of movement is what your mechanics are to give that information.
So my last quick comment is actually East Fishkill 20. I was AR2. Attack was at the other end of the field. Ball comes into the box. Center ref does not have a view. Defers to the AR who did not have a view, who calls it as an open. It was not a goal. I happen.
What was the offense?
I'm standing on the midline. It went off the. I happened to be an open.
This is a question of corner kick, goal kick.
Exactly. Corner kick, goal kick, and they're both looking at each other, and they do not know. And again, I'm guilty. I'm standing there. I know what that call is, but I'm a midline, and the center ref is certainly spinning his head around to go look and see what the other AR his opinion is from the other field. But in fact, I am unfortunately the coach standing next to me.
Been there.
Had the perfect advantage of that. So in that situation, how do you do it with respect for the center ref and for the other AR who are getting it wrong because they're doing it? How do you do that politely without compromising their integrity?
Is that something we could cover? I know this would be stupid. We can cover and put them and say, hey, listen, I don't care if you're all the way in midfield. If you know 100% that we have it wrong, you go, especially on the coach's side. We can go confer with them, right? I mean, I know it looks a little goofy.
Do whatever the referee tells you to do.
So that is something we can cover and bring. Hey, listen, if we butcher this, get our attention and call us over.
No, you don't want to do that with trifling little things.
Yeah. But a corner kick versus a goal kick.
No, that's not. How about
just
a
a restart.
penalty versus?
Well, you know, I agree.
All right,
Just
so
a restart.
now
responses.
All right. So yeah, so you
have
have
a set play, and we know that most goals are scored off a set play. So now you have taken away that opportunity to that team. In actuality, it should have been.
Yes.
And this was when you play high school bowling, but it's still an all-time high level game.
So I would just add that I think that's pretty unusual that I can see better from 50 yards away than the two referees that are down in that end. I've called once or twice. I mean, my point is that I think it's very unusual that a referee 50 yards away is going to see better than both officials that are right there. It can happen. But I'll be honest, if I'm 50 yards away, I can't imagine seeing something that I'm 100% sure about. Right. But I'm going to overrule those two guys there that were 15 yards away, maybe, right? So I can think of once I saw a clear handling going to goal, and I called back a goal once. I was trail, and I saw her. It bounced. I'm 100%. The center referee couldn't see through her to see the arm. The AR on the other side, looking through a crowd, couldn't see it. I 100% saw it. It changed directions. She dribbled in and scored. I had proof immediately. I came up. As soon as I saw him call it a goal, start walking back, the whole team's yelling that was a handball, handball. They're all yelling. He's looking for help, and here I am. I got my flag up. He comes over. It was easy.
But that's very different than just a restart.
Right. This is a key match incident. You get this wrong, you blew up the game. And I saw it, and I was certain. They both didn't see it. They were looking for help. They turned, and I got my flag up. It was beautiful. Right.
What involves is risk versus reward, right? You're taking a risk. Are you going to, as the trail AR, you're taking a risk that you're going to undermine some of the authority of the other two teammates, right? In the eyes of whomever. Mm-hmm. If the reward is an incorrectly scored goal, that's real important.
Right.
And it was like a 2-2 game. That's worth it. It mattered.
But it was a lessened risk because Rob said they were looking for the assistance.
Right, right. Much less risk for me.
Right.
Right. As soon as I saw him call that goal, and then everybody's yelling, I knew it was wrong. It made it easy for me to come up with that flag because there wasn't a lot of risk.
Right.
Okay. Great discussion, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for everyone at home. We had 16 people on. Yeah.
I just want to.
We're done.
I just got to tell this. If I don't tell it, I'm waiting 40 years to tell it. Women's Open game in Empire State game. 4 overtimes. I looked at my watch, 20 seconds, and was going into the box. And thank God I had 2 of the best ARs ever. The skinny guy over there, and then Carruthers is not here. And I had to call a penalty. 10 seconds to go. And I looked at both of them, and, well, you were the lead, you were the AR